Hi, kids. Welcome back to another video in my series on my author's journey. Today, I'm going to return to inspiration and tell you why I set so much of my third novel, Elvie and the Gift of Passion, in the beautiful African country of Tanzania. The full story is a long one and includes bumpy drives through the African bush, collecting saliva samples from hundreds of native peoples, dodging dangerous wildlife along the way. It's too much for one video, to be sure. So right now, I'm going to tell you only the first part of the tale and what got me started visiting Tanzania in the first place. Then in future videos, I promise I'll return to the saliva and the wild animals. You know, when I was younger, I was a pretty avid mountain climber. I climbed many of the 14,000-foot peaks in the Sierra Nevada and was a frequent visitor to the summit of Mount Shasta and other mountains up and down the west coast of the United States and some in Nevada and Colorado. But in 2001, I went a bit further afield. I decided I wanted an even more ambitious climb and somewhere entirely new. So a friend and I took off for Arusha, Tanzania, to climb the highest mountain on the African continent, Mount Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is nearly 20,000 feet high, and it takes several days to summit. You have to hike very slowly, pole-pole in Swahili, the national language, so you don't get altitude sick. If you climb too high too fast, it can be dangerous. Symptoms include headache, vomiting, insomnia, and reduced performance and coordination. Some people even die from high-altitude pulmonary or cerebral edema. But the guides on Kilimanjaro are very well trained, and they protect the foreign climbers very well. They took us up high during the day and had us sleep low at night. This is a way of helping the body acclimatize to the drop in oxygen levels and air pressure. Believe it or not, you only have about half as much air to breathe when you stand at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro as you do when you're staring up at it from the plains below. Wow, that's quite a difference, and it's something your body needs to prepare for. I tend to get altitude sick. I knew that from all my previous mountaineering trips, and I took some medicine to help my body cope. It worked pretty well, and I made it to the summit at about 6 a.m. on January the 16th, 2001. We had to summit very early in the morning because that's when the wind on the summit plateau isn't likely to blow you off. It's too strong the rest of the time. But that also means climbing in the middle of the night for several hours with a headlamp. I was told to take spare batteries and keep them flush against my skin inside my jacket where they wouldn't freeze. But they did freeze anyway, and my lamp was not very reliable. Fortunately, some of the other climbers in my group had lamps that worked the entire time and could light the way for the rest of us. When the climb was over, my friend and I went on a wildlife safari to 2 national parks, and the safari company booked us into a nice hotel that had a bathtub. I was so filthy from the climb that it took me several baths to get clean again, and I left a rim of black mud behind me in the tub every time. My friend and I were also quite sick, having picked up some kind of nasty intestinal bug, as were the others in our group. No one seemed immune. My poop was green, let's leave it at that, and it took me a few days to recover my good spirits so I could enjoy the safari. We met a lot of people along our way, and in the end, I simply fell in love with Tanzania and its people, and I decided to begin a research project there, centering on my field of expertise, forensic DNA. That's where the trips to the far-flung villages deep in the African bush and the collection of saliva samples comes in. I did that for 10 years, so stay tuned. You won't want to miss what comes next.